I just wanted to do. I've been tossing around the idea of making a YouTube video for a while, and I decided to do it. I decided to go ahead and make one. Essentially, it's going to be just kind of a monthly recap video, and I really wanted to capture a lot of the things that I think led up to this month, which because it was a lot of things. While it was still a bit fresh, realistically, I would have wanted to do it maybe a bit earlier than this, but it is what it is. I'm still only a month after really having this nice run, so I think a lot of the ideas are still very fresh. So obviously, it was a crazy month. This was today. June 1st was the first day I was over PDT. So obviously, as you can see here, I'm not taking a lot of volume of trades because I didn't have the buying power really available. Because I was under PDT, and this being my first month over, I went a little bit crazy with the trades. I did trade a lot, especially like 150 trades. That is insane. But it worked for me at the end of the day, and it's something that I'm working on right now. It's kind of to be expected when you're trading under PDT for so long. And I feel like a big problem with me is that I just love trading so much that I just want to trade. Like, I just want to trade more because I love the just trading, in general. So going into what got me to this month, one of the big things that I think has helped me just in general and has really allowed me to have some kind of pretty quick success so far in the industry, realistically, I started actually studying and trading in April of 2020. So it's not even really been a year and a half. Like, it's been a year, maybe a quarter, that I've been really doing this kind of studying and really just aggressively trying to learn this stuff. And I've had some pretty nice results, I essentially doubled my $25,000 account and then some from June 1st. So a month and a week, so a little bit over a month. That's pretty impressive. Who knows what I could lose money, obviously. The last thing I want to do with this video is like jinx myself, But I do think that I have potential I have potential to make a lot of money in the future if I play my cards right, And one of the big things that I took up back in the day, back around like this time, January, February, March, March time. And I think it was November, December, January, was meditation. That was something that I took up. I used to think it was just kind of some mumbo-jumbo shit, honestly. I thought it was just some mumbo-jumbo stuff. Oh, meditation. Why don't I just go hug a fucking tree, But honestly, I cannot recommend it enough. I can't recommend it enough. Now, at this point, I'm not necessarily meditating like I was before. Like, before, I would meditate every single day before the market opened, around like 5-10 minutes. I have probably over 130 days of meditation, of days that I have meditated for. Sometimes I would do it like twice a day or 3 times a day if I was really feeling it. But what it allowed me to do, right, is I think people have kind of a weird view of what meditation is, Realistically, it's just giving yourself a little bit more control over your mind, I had so much control. I have now, I think, so much control over my mind and my emotions that I would have never been able to develop had I not done meditation. Our world's a very noisy world. Especially with the internet and social media, there's so much noise, there's so many things going on, there's so many things to think about, Meditation is just the art of thinking about nothing. So you're just sitting there and you're literally thinking about nothing. And you can use your breath to bring you back into that thinking about nothing, And if you can use your breath to pull away thoughts just in your regular life, then when you're trading and you're having non-market related thoughts, which I'm pretty sure that's happened to every trader ever, right? Like you're trading and then there's just something in your head you're thinking about, whether it's something good, whether it's something bad, whatever it is, it's distracting you from trading and you're just thinking about it. At least for me, this happened a lot to me. And the meditation allowed me to focus back in on the level 2, focus back in on the tape, focus back in on the chart, at a moment's notice. Because as an athlete, as a performer, you have to be able to summon focus on command. Focus needs to be summonable. Like, you ever see a basketball? This is something I read in Daily Trading Coach, which, by the way, Could not recommend enough. Amazing book. Realistically, the only trading psychology book I think you need. I've read a lot of them. Not a lot, but a decent amount of them. And I mean, like, realistically, if you just bought that one book, I mean, he goes over essentially every trading issue in depth and gives you exercises and stuff to do to try to help you out. That was a great book. But when you see an NBA player taking a free throw, they take a quick breath, they focus themselves in, and they shoot, right? Because they just want to be focused on the free throw. Like, you just have, as a discretionary trader, now look, if you're a systems trader, if you're a quantitative trader, an algorithmic trader, you might laugh or be like, whatever, I'm not a performance sport, I just created a math equation, and that's fine, that's just the nature of that. However, as a discretionary trader, making decisions in the moment and relying on your intuition, you absolutely must be able to summon focus on command. You just need to, and that's what meditation did for me. I used an app called 10%. I got it free with my job, but it's like $100 a year. But it's not the only meditation thing out there. Like, just, you can definitely find free stuff online to just kind of try it out. I mean, it really won't kill you. I think it'll only help you. It's definitely helped me a ton, and I think it's what allowed me to have some pretty quick kind of success. I mean, that and, like, obviously going insane in terms of study time and screen time and trading. But what's allowed me to have some kind of quick success in the industry, And then I also wanted to talk quickly. There's two more things I wanted to talk about. One was my max loss day here and this loss day here. So this day I was down 500 and I came back to plus $96. And that scared the shit out of me because that's not something I wanted to make a habit of. And I never really had a max loss because I always had just buying power restrictions. Like, I could only take 5 or 6 trades a day or whatever, Whereas now, being over PDT, yeah, it's great, but you also have unlimited potential for losses. Now, once you're a little bit over PDT, you kind of feel like there's a thin cushion and it really keeps you on your toes. At least this is what happened for me. I'm just going to give you my experience, right? It kept me on my toes. Because when you're only $1,000 or $500 over PDT, you can't lose that money. Because once you lose that money, it's over. Now, for some people, that pressure might mess with them and cause negative performance. But for me, it actually allowed me to be more selective. And it allowed me to protect my capital more and cut things based on time approaches and on feel approaches rather than exact price targets, which was always something I struggled with. And I mean, I'm a scalper. I trade, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I trade essentially like Dan Irish, if you know him, Dan's Game Poker on Twitter. But I have my own flair to it. And he's scalp-based, and I'm scalp-based as well. Where when you're scalp-based, I mean, you've got to be very careful because when you're trading really tight risk, a lot of times if you're not careful, it can just dump and you can lose 2R or 3R. And when I say 2R or 3R, your R is your standardized risk per trade. Your standard risk. It can become very easy to lose more than you expect when you're scalping. And so it allowed me to protect my capital a little bit better. Yeah, I mean, emotion. So basically, at this point, I had realized, I was like, I never really had a max loss in mind. I never really thought, like, what is my max loss? Like, should I have a max loss? But then once this day hit, I realized, I was like, okay, because I walked away after I was down 1,000, and I was like, that is it, $1,000. I don't want to be down $1,000 in a day. Now at this point, my risk was $50 per trade, so that's 20 R, which granted I did have some nice R days, but still 20 R is pretty wide for a max loss. I've still kept it at $1,000. Even though I just recently this day moved my risk up to $100 per trade. But 20R is a lot. Probably 10R I think would make more sense for somebody trading my style. But then again, obviously it's different for everybody, And what allowed me to stop this day when I was down 1,000, and what's allowed me to just like stop in general when I'm down a lot of money, is I've already thought about what it's going to feel like when I lose. Like, I've already, like, in this whole week, right, or whatever, like, at some point here, I'm seriously thinking about how it's going to feel when I take that loss day. Because it's coming, right? I'm not perfect, right? Every trader's going to have a red day. and emotionally accepting it before it happens and realizing that it's part of the game and that it's actually necessary is what allowed me to do it. I viewed this day as a win. And you might be thinking, like, what the fuck? That makes no sense. You hit your max loss. You lost on the day, you know? I won that day because I stuck to my rules and I stuck to my process and I didn't let it go crazy. My max loss got triggered and that was it. Yeah, I could have made money that day if I played better, but I'm not gonna make money every day. That's just not really possible. I can make money perhaps almost every day, but not every single day. And being able to stick to that max loss is extremely important. And so that's why I obviously I was upset that day and I felt like shit. I was like, fuck, I just took a max loss day. It sucks ass, you know? But because I've already emotionally accepted the fact that that's going to happen, I was better able to deal with it and I was better able to just accept it as part of the game, you know? One last thing I want to go over real quick before I cut it off. Was these 2 days right? There was a $400 loss day. Where is the $400 loss day? Sorry, guys. Well, basically, okay, here's the gist of it, right? In this area, I had a 40R loss day, right? So what that means is essentially it's right here, right? You can see it. So essentially what 40R, so I lost, my risk per trade was $10. I lost $400, okay? It was this kind of gap down right here. I was devastated. I mean, like, if you can see, I had this was months, right? This is from November to fucking February. This was months of this slow and steady uptrend developing, right? And on my P&L. And I became more worried about my P&L curve than I did my actual trades. I became more worried about, oh, I just want to find an uptrend. I just want the P&L to go up. Like, let's just maintain this uptrend. Let's not dip below this. Like, let's keep going up, keep going up, keep going up. If you ever read I've never actually read Atomic Habits, but there's a concept in there that was mentioned to me, and there's a blog post about it. It's called System Goals versus Outcome Goals. Outcome goals are like, I want to make $1 million. Systems goals are, I want to perfect my entries. I want to get better at trading. I want to stick to my max loss. I want to perfect my exits, you know? I was focused on the outcome goal. I was focused on the money. I was focused on how much I was making per day. I was focused on maintaining this curve, whatever the fuck bullshit that means, you know? That's what I was focused on. And then and it's funny because, like, obviously being over PDT was the actual thing that allowed me to have the month, right? But this is the thing that it's tougher, I guess, other people to understand, or I guess, I don't know, maybe it's easy to understand, but there were so many factors besides that, though, that allowed me to capitalize, right? There was so much shit that happened in these zones, in this freaking curve, right? Like, lifestyle things, journaling. I mean, like, I used to journal every single day, and I have over 40 pages of journals, looking at screen recordings of my trades and listening to myself talk myself through trades. That was extremely influential as well. Reading Daily Trading Coach, doing the activities in Daily Trading Coach. Like, there were so many things that allowed me to have the month. But I'm just going over some of the biggest factors, right? Once this happens, I mean, it's easy to draw a trend line, right? It's done. It's done. The P&L is done, right? Like, the curve is broken. The equity curve, whatever the hell that means, like, if you care about that kind of thing, which I did at the time, it's over. It's done. It's cracked, you know? I've cracked below this level, you know? And at this point, I had to just not even think about the profits, because I was like, if I even think about the profits, because it's going to take me, I was down 40R. It's going to take me weeks minimum to reclaim that. And that's even if I can figure out how to consistently profit per day, you know? I felt like absolute shit. But what happened actually was I started focusing solely on the process and solely on the systems goals. I was looking over my screen recordings every single day at this point, right? Like, I was doing the stuff and focusing on the stuff I should have focused on. Whereas, I mean, yeah, I was focused on perfecting my entries. I was focused on perfecting my exits. Don't get me wrong, like, I wasn't just thinking about the money here. Obviously, I was thinking about the process and improving. but I was thinking so much about the money that I didn't have the mental capital or the space to really focus on a lot of the systematic stuff, the systems goals that allowed me to have this really great month, you know? Yeah, so that's everything I wanted to go over. Let me know if you liked it. I guess let me know if you hate it too. That's fine. I mean, seriously, I mean, this is mostly for me, but I mean, I'm just trying to see if perhaps some people could get some value out of this. I mean, if nobody's getting value out of this, I can just keep it to myself. I mean, I'm not gonna I really don't care. You know, I mean, just let me know what you think. Definitely, some of my Discord buddies are gonna be watching it, and some of the people from the Wedge Discord. Yeah, no, I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you can take something from it. Have a good day.